Okay.
Bonjour. Good to be back after a while. My daughter couldn't be here, but I asked my dear friend, Dr. Gormley, she's the camera person.
Hi there.
So let's start. The Iranian culture, Iranian tradition has contributed so much to the collective world culture, to the science, to many art, culture, different things. And for example, chemistry comes from the Iranian science of knowing the elements, the knowledge of the elements, which is kimya, geri in Persian. The word paradise comes from paradis. So the Iranians are proud that they give to the science and the culture and giving paradise to the world. But at the same time, there are some other dark side of the Iranian culture, and the word assassination that comes from Iranian culture. Hassan Sabbah lived in 10th century. He was organizing a resistance against Seljuqi's Turk Empire in Iran. And his headquarters was in the mountains of the Alborz and the fortress of Alamut. He had the followers that they followed him religiously, say. And the trick that he used is that not only he was charismatic leader, he also was a scientist and botanist. So he knew the power of the cannabis, and he used hashish to give to his followers. Many people that they used hashish, they become attached to it, and they felt good, and he said this is good for you as remedy and also to give you uplifting. So the followers, they would do anything for their leader, Hassan Sabbah, and he would order them to go and eliminate any politician, opponent that they were on his way. So the word assassination came from that act of hashishin, the people they used hashish and they would go follow the orders, especially eliminating the politicians. They were opponents of the politicians in these days. Jack London, a very brilliant author, American writer, he wrote a book called The Assassination Bureau Ltd.
And I know Jack London as a young girl. I read his Call of the Wild. I love that book.
Fantastic book. A White Fang, another book. So Jack London wrote this book. He couldn't finish it, and another author has to finish this book before he died. So in this book, Ivan Dragomilov, the character of this novel, established a fantastic, sophisticated organization that would go and eliminate especially people who were menace to the society, and they were worthy of elimination, but a very hefty fee. Somebody would like to eliminate the chief of police. They would go to assassination bureau and giving the money, and the chief of police is assassinated. But one day, a client comes to Ivan Dragomilov, the head of this organization, and said, I would like to eliminate someone who is a menace to the society because he might use his power for the ill reason. And Ivan Dragomilov said, okay, you have to pay for example, $20,000 the fee at that time, hefty price. So the client accepts, here we go, the money, and gives the money, the name of the person that you want to eliminate. And the client says, Ivan Dragomilov. So himself. Now he's trapped. Should I accept? He wanted the professionalism, and he wanted to honor the offer, and he accepted the offer, and he gives the order to his organization to go and eliminate him and assassinate him.
So he believed so strongly in the system that he was willing to give up his own life?
His own life. And what is fascinating is that why I'm telling you this? Because now many sophisticated, intelligent organization and corporations, they are self-destructive by polluting the air, polluting the environment, destructing the environment, making the situation unbearable for us and poisoning us instead of giving us life. In 1950s, three major car companies, Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors, they went and they bought all the tramway that they were existing at that time in major cities in North America, such as Chicago, New York, Boston, San Francisco. They bought all these tramway and they trashed them, they wrecked them. They thought they are doing a good business because people are forced to buy a car instead of using public transportation.
So they destroyed the public transportation infrastructure in order to make the car the prime mode of transportation.
Absolutely. And the other example is who killed the electric car. Many times when the money comes and the greed comes, greed wins over the public benefit, collective benefit. What is good for us? No, what is good for the company? What is good for the making more money? And that is very alarming. Recently, Leonardo DiCaprio, one of my favorite actors, he spoke to General Assembly of United Nations and he said, I pretend for my living. I play fictitious character to solve fictitious problem. But you, the leader of the world, you are facing with the reality. There is real problem. As the major, as the leader of the navies, United States Navy, he said the single threat to our security is climate change. Is the climate change that is threatening us. It's not ISIS, it's not jihadis, it's not Al-Qaeda. It's the climate change that is single biggest threat to United States, the superpower. So Leonardo DiCaprio said, you the leaders, with honesty and courage, either you make history or you would be vilified by it. So I hope the fact that you're talking about it and the scientists talking about it, you and I, we talk about it, means there is still hope to do something to save the environment and save our life, because our life is under question. Thank you. Au revoir.
Thank you, David.
My pleasure.